would take some cap gymnastics to do that. You'd have to restructure some guys, and it might be a little messy. And I would just argue that in a lost season, this might be the time to do it. You're going to have to, at some point, reckon with the proration on his contract. And I don't know, guys. I just think of this in timelines, right? And I look at it right now, and if I'm the Browns, the way I'm looking at this is, can I get good enough, fast enough, to maximize what's left of Myles Garrett's prime? I look at the Browns, the hole at quarterback, a hole at receiver, a hole at tackle, and I'm not sure that they can get good enough, fast enough to maximize what's left of Myles Garrett's prime. And so it might be one of those situations where the best thing for everyone involved is to find him a new home.
Albert Breer, MMQB, yesterday with us towards the tail end of yesterday's show, building his case for why the Browns should seriously consider trading Myles Garrett. And the reality is, I think if you just ask the question, should the Browns trade Myles Garrett? I think it's incredibly complex, because I think Albert is right. Myles, I thought this could be a one-year deal. They drafted reasonably well, and they're still FUBAR. So, I think this is more than even just one more good draft. I think this is at least two more good drafts. And I think a lot of it's because one way or another you have to deal with the financial realities. And I think the way you deal with them now is, instead of just spending your way out, which is what Jimmy's done, I think you just got to sit in it. And so all of that, what Albert said, I find to be reasonable. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it comes down to brass tacks. What can you get for him, and does Myles want to go? Because if Myles is done, like he was done 9 months ago, and you and all those brilliant guys over there who come up with knee slappers like you got a better chance of trading Myles Garrett, they can go ahead and figure out the financial gymnastics.
Yeah, and they would be able to. And so that's the interesting part of this. But also, do they want somebody like Myles that seems like a disgruntled employee for X amount of months on end? That's another thing that they should have to consider. And there's a lot here. And there's no easy answer. But what I do know is that if the starting price is 2 first-round picks, if we have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons, that's a good jumpstart to a new team.
Yeah, and again, I think if that's the first thing you do, the second thing, I need to make sure Andrew Berry's not here, because I will not trust him with those picks, no matter how good the last 4, the first 4 picks of this last year looked.
Which would be interesting, because then you'd be telling him execute the trade, get the job done, and then you're not going to be able to see the fruits of that labor. But think about the GM you can get if you have 5 draft picks in the first round of the next 2 seasons, relative to if you just entered into a normal situation. That's almost the equivalent of saying, hey, Mike Vrabel, do you want to be the coach of the Patriots with Drake May, or do you want to be the coach of any other team? He's like, I want to take the Drake May guy. That sounds like a good time.
And the Browns have outlasted the whole thing of they never give guys enough chance. Giving Barry and Stefanski 6 years, basically, to get something done, and basically fail in the most incredible of ways. Even, by the way, once the trade was clearly a failure, giving them 2 seasons after that, I think should maybe showcase to the league that while Jimmy Haslam might want too much of a say in personnel matters, he's at least going to give you the time to get it right or get it wrong. I think that also is another thing that is going in your favor that wasn't when you hired these guys, 5.5 years ago.
No, you've gone too far in that direction. I think you've course corrected too far. You went into the idea that now every GM gets 5 or 6 years, and it's just way too long of a time. So yeah, it's a very interesting convo, and I like. The part that I find so funny is so many Browns fans right now, even myself included, I'm like, 6% chance. I just don't expect it to happen. But when you actually have a nuanced conversation about it, you can come up with just as many reasons for why it would happen than why it wouldn't happen.
216-474-0092. How likely is a Myles trade? Mike in Macedonia, welcome to the show, bud.
How's it going, guys?
Going all right. Hey, welcome to the show.
Well, I'll start by saying this. I don't like Myles Garrett, but I don't want him to trade him. I want him to suffer in Cleveland for his comments of, hey, it's not good enough from going Cleveland to Canton. Us hardworking, everyday, Clevelanders, and to hear that is like, we have to sit here and deal with this team, and hey, it's not good enough for you. You just want to move on. Well, tough break. take the money and just shut up now.
So, all right. So, listen, I don't think Myles was firing any shots at the fans, and I thank you for the call. I don't think he was firing any shots at the fans. 2 weeks ago, when he talked about who cares more and all that kind of stuff, that I think was a bit of a shot at the fans, and that was a bit unnecessary. I think Myles, the funny thing is, Myles played the initial trade request perfectly, except for caving for $40 million a year.
He didn't play it long enough is the problem. He played it for 6 weeks. He should have played it for 6 months.
Now, I do think you hit at something that we haven't talked about yet, the idea of culture. I really struggle to think that if Myles is unhappy and Myles is blowing up on the sidelines, and now we've got people speculating he was blowing up on the sidelines because he wanted to get back in to get 7 sacks and break the NFL record, not just the team record, as opposed to he was frustrated at getting blown out. I'm not there, but I certainly respect your right to make that case if you want to. But like, there's clean sweep in terms of let's get everybody on the same timeline and let's build towards something together. And which means if Myles is going, everyone's going, right? And when I say everyone, I'm talking about leadership in this organization, including San Diego Paul. And I mean, he can't do the Howie Roseman, I'll just be in this water closet for 3 years until I can come back and claim my spot. No, gone. Ex-nade, off the face of the friggin' planet. Well, okay, back to San Diego. But I do think there's something to be said about the culture. I don't think the culture is awful. I also don't think I don't think you've got the guys or the leaders in the organization you need to. Myles is one of them. It might be the right time to hit the cultural reset as well.
Well, and that's, again, it's one of those things that I think the Browns should seriously take a look at. Like, look at the idea that if Myles is around, if you keep him around, and listen, he's a great player, but it is every single week, Friday at 2 o'clock, let's just crap all over the franchise when we're losing. That's not going away. And I'm not asking for it to go away either, by the way. If you're Myles, you speak your piece, you say whatever you need to say. But, like, he's shown you. He's going to be very vocal. And the only thing I know about this organization at this point is that they like to control people, and they like to not have those messages get out. They like to try to, if you're Baker Mayfield, we got a real problem with you being Baker Mayfield. They like to really tamp that down. And so knowing them the way that we do, wouldn't surprise me if one day they woke up and said, I'm tired of this being the headline every week.
All right. I know you have 2 potential trades for the Browns that Connor Orr has pitched. Now, neither of these involve Myles Garrett. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. Yeah. None of them involve Myles. They are involving 2 other players. And I wanted to really what turns out, and this is Connor Orr, not Connor and not Connor but, this is Connor Orr. And their draft compensation, okay? So there's no other players thrown in the mix, so we don't have to do any wonky it's a defender that nobody's ever heard of. What does this actually mean?
Now, do we get a pick swap? Because nothing makes Andrew Berry happier than a nice little pick swap.
No pick swap, just returning picks. Returning picks.
Okay.
It's the simplest of trades imaginable from a talk radio perspective.
Okay.
First one, David Njoku to the Broncos for a 2026 third rounder.
Sold. Yeah, good football player. I think he would fit very well with Bo Nix. In fairness, they need more vertical speed, which is why every 3 weeks Troy Franklin has a ridiculous, because it's the one thing the guy does well. But I don't think they're going to get vertical speed, so I think Njoku would be the perfect
I think
addition.
The sell in there is that the Broncos have a very low percentage of multi-tight end sets. They don't really even do 12 personnel. You got so many teams right now using 13 personnel. That seems to be back in vogue in
Kevin
the NFL
wants
level.
to do 14 personnel. I don't even think that's a thing.
It's odd. It's Colts, Steelers, Lions, Rams. They've all had a lot of 3 tight end setups, and so the idea that tight ends right now and 12 personnel but 13 personnel are back in the mix is an obvious idea, but the Broncos don't even use 12 personnel basically ever. Low rate there. David Njoku goes there. You get a third rounder in return. The other one.
Would you do it, by the way?
Yes, I would. And I love David Njoku, but a third round pick is where that's the sweet spot for Njoku. I think if you get a third rounder, you're pretty pleased.
Yeah, for a 30-year-old tight end that has some injury issues, I think that makes a lot of sense.
And hopefully they don't pull up some of his catch receptions, etc., and his drop rates this year, because
he's been great. Jonathan,
we gotta keep
people
that
are saying
going.
He's having a career year.
That's right.
Many people are saying
that's what we should do. Anyone that's on the trading block, they should just cut up the clips of us talking about how great they've been this year, and we can get that circulated. Maybe we tag some Denver radio stations, throw that in the mix as well. And Njoku, not only dynamic throughout his career here, dynamic this season. If only he
You'll
had
also love him shirtless in the middle of December.
Well, that's just a plus.
We'll just send those pics,
That's just a plus.
Just help the package a little bit.
All right, next one. Browns guard Wyatt Teller to the Seahawks.
Okay.
Teller, I knew you'd be interested by.
Okay.
4th round pick in 2026 and a 2027 6th round pick.
Okay. I mean, I guess if you're not going to re-sign him, maybe. I just think like the Chargers need O-line help, Texans need O-line help, Seattle needs O-line. Like there's like half the teams that are any good this year need O-line help.
Yeah.
4th and a 6 is okay.
It's weird. He's relying on like Kubiak and Stefanski's connection back in the day as part of the reason why this would be like a seamless fit. I don't know that that's necessarily part of the reason why the Seahawks would make that deal. I think it'd more just be the idea that Wyatt Teller is good at football.
I think that also makes sense.
But a 4th and a 6th, I want to re-sign Wyatt Teller. I feel like you have to re-sign X amount of guys in this offensive line anyway to begin with. Teller is one of the ones I feel like they need to. I'd be upset if this was the move.
So maybe I think you're swaying me here. I think if it was a 3rd, much like David, if it was a 3rd, I would have to probably say yes. If it was a 4th and a 6th, I'd probably say, well, why don't we just commit money to Wyatt Teller and let's just keep one of the pieces that we know is going to at least keep us buoyant for the next 2 years, because while I don't think you need to be focused about trying to win a championship the next 2 years while you're rebuilding, I do think you need to try and remain competitive.
Yeah, it's interesting as they try to go through this selling pieces off, but then other sites want them to be buyers as far as wide receivers are concerned. I noticed after the Miami game, they took a lot of the Njoku, Wyatt Teller type players away from these conversations.
And now they're right back in.
Right back in. Like Jordan Ware in the 4-5. It's right back.
Maybe that's why Andrew Berry can't speak. He's too busy, like just on calls. He's just like
pulling up the Connor Orrs.
He's like John Schneider. Hey, it's AB. What's up? What's up? We should bring the Waza. He could bring the Waza back.
What's up?
No, by the way, so could Kevin Stefanski. Ironically, of course. Let's go with Tim in Cuyahoga Falls. I don't know why.
It took a while.
Tim, welcome to the show, bud. I am for
Hey, how's it going? First time caller.
Oh, well, welcome to the show.
As long as you're not a first time listener, we're cool.
Yeah. Well.
Not, definitely not. So here's a crazy one for you. Parsons just left the Cowboys because of, Jerry Jones. If you don't say yes, sir, pretty much you're gone. So they just got all those trades. They have a couple more trades. They still have a chance to finish their season with Myles Garrett.
Now you're talking. Myles is a Texas guy. Okay, so 2 things. Because I have the Myles Garrett to Dallas trade. 2 things. I would want their firsts for the next 2 seasons and not Green Bay's. And I want the kid they took, the guard from Alabama, Booker.
Okay.
Now he was there. He was the 12th pick overall, but I want him in the deal as well.
I've heard the Cowboys and I've heard the 49ers seem to be the 2 big teams that are linked up to if a Myles deal were to kind of happen.
Yeah, I was trying to make sense of the Niners one because that.
How about the next 2 picks for the next 2 years?
What do you mean?
What, you mean 4 picks?
Yeah, so Dallas gives them 4 picks.
Now we're drunk at 3 a.m. PlayStation territory.
Which I've been, Tim. Just so you know,
that's fine. It's a good place to live.
I did play a butt ton of Madden before today, but ironically didn't trade Myles. Tim, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean Dallas would be one of. I would want him out of the AFC. I couldn't like Buffalo would be. Yeah, he's everything Buffalo needs. I cannot. With love and respect, I can't watch him in the conference. I can't.
Before Buffalo signed Bosa, I really thought that's where I was going to end up this offseason. I thought I was going to be there or Detroit.
I thought Detroit.
I mean, Detroit's an interesting spot, especially with the Hutchinson move now today and the amount of money they've put towards him. They're close to broke.